champion Nick Revolt. The umpires Stuart Wen, Michael Jennings, Shane McInerney. St Kilda's 12-game streak over Richmond is the longest by any one club over another, still alive in the competition. First possession and kick to Cochin, back from suspension. That's good for the Tigers, but Montagna puts the Saints forward. Revolt crashing in from the side, ever brave. St Kilda's ball though, good get by Kajitsky. McWalter was tough and courageous, and the Saints just keep coming. However, eventually the Tigers quell them, and Newman delivers to Cousins for his first feel of the ball.
And a rousing reception, as you would expect, and he gives it off to Cochin, who rode the bump beautifully, but it's been stolen here by the Saints. Montagna to Ray. They share it around, looking to build up again. Goddard kicks to Revolt. He was caught underneath it. Thursfield at the back. Gordis is there. Delidio. The kick was good and delivered to Jack Revolt. Luke, I think he might have started on the wing.
Yeah, been criticised a little bit even by his coach that he just has been wanting to hang too close to goal. It's good to see him get up, create some space, and he was getting a lot of goals in the past month by working back hard, and it's a good sign for him early.
Edwards, gee, that was a poorly placed kick. There was absolutely nothing on the end of it, but a strong tackle from Post.
A lot of us get excited about Trent Cochin, and have a look at the body strength there. He has just gone straight through Adam Snyder. It's a great sign of a young man who's got that real core strength to be able to just break tackles the way he did on that occasion. Here's
Milne up near the half-back flank. Montagna, he's had about 4 possessions already, and he delivers that well to Kajitsky's lead. Revolt there with the straitjacket of a tackle, forcing a ball up.
Cochin will be relieved because it was Clint Jones that took him when these two sides met in round 11 and held him quite well. So Clint Jones, a late withdrawal this afternoon. Nick Hine coming in for him. So on the outer wing, it dribbles over the boundary line. We'll have a ball in.
St Kilda are able to create some space inside 50. They started Kajitsky deep in the goal square, as he often does. Already, though, he has just collided with Nick Revolt, so they still need to get the synergy in that pairing going a little stronger, with only a couple of games out before the finals.
Graham and Patterson in the ruck, tap down to Montagna again, who's got his hands on the footy. Revolt diving, lunging mark.
You know what was great there? Exactly what they need is Kajitsky got busy and he took his man out to the boundary line, and that left a one-on-one for Revolt. So it's just smarter play from Kajitsky. You've got to draw your opponent out. You want this man in that position. You want him having one-on-one contests because, as we showed pre-game, he is just building into some superb form, and that's another great sign, a one-on-one body mark.
He's played 6 games back so far for 1 goal, 1 goal, 2 goals, 2 goals, 4 goals, 7 goals. Could be in for 14 this afternoon if the trend continues. He's got his first on the board.
Another thing he's doing is he's striking the ball really nicely. His set shot routine that has been an issue for him. Looks really, really comfortable and confident at the moment. That's not the way he normally earns his possessions. He actually gets so many more of them in the league through his work rate and his speed and his ability to take it. So he'll back himself against Thursfield in every department today. In really good kicking form, Nick Revolt, too, at the moment. He's really clean the way he hit that, followed through nicely, and dropped the ball really well. When he's having some issues with his goal kicking, he often gets the drop a little skew-if. He seems to be really confident at the moment by foot.
He is in good form. Bounce favouring Graham. Goddard, though, Montagna. That was actually possession number 6. So he has started like a shot out of a gun. Del Santo for Gilbert. Taylor coming at him. Gilbert back to Del Santo. Places it methodically, although not really getting a result there. Edwards to Newman for the Tigers, who have built 3 times without really being able to go beyond the 50. Rewalt out on the lead and stabbing it beautifully. That was a superb pass. And isn't that a good sign? Post it was on the lead, taking the mark, but Rewalt providing him with the feed and doing it as though that was his natural game.
Great lateral movement there. He's playing on an outstanding player in Sam Fisher. Defenders hate forwards who can go straight at you and then go back sideways. So much harder to defend a player that's running laterally across the ground. And the kick from Revolt here to post was just sensational.
So a chance for the equalising goal, but a challenging shot for Jaden Post from about 47, and it's across the face. Gilbert getting the big double fister onto it. So a throw in.
You can see Jack Revolt there as Chris Newman, the captain, comes off and has a little chat on the phone. He's worked up and then worked back because he just plants himself in the goal square. He's a lot easier to double team. If he gets on the move, Revolt, he's going to be able to draw some space.
Revolt on the bottom of this pack, and we'll have a ball up.
Please. Brendan, just let him go, please, Brendan. That's okay. Jake. Up, Jake.
Taking a while to find their feet. A little bit of fun and games. The bottom of the pack. This is Patterson in the ruck. Third man up was Blake. Goddard just hacks it clear, comes out to the wing. They're cleared 4 players, and now Gordis gets there first. To Moore. Back to Thursfield. It was an awkward bounce. Gordis again splits a couple of defenders, takes Revolt on. And now Edwards. Short chips on to Taylor. Back in the side. Little hesitant, and then gives it off to the Irishman in O'Reilly. They're mucking around with it. Eventually they send it inside 50. It's a 2-on-1. Outnumbered was Collins. King charges out, and he might look for home. In fact, it's a stabbing pass almost. I'm not quite sure whether he meant it for a shot or a pass, but it hit the point post, so we'll have a throw in.
It was an interesting kick, wasn't it? Because it really got some power off the boot, and it'd be something that could be useful, employed in certain circumstances. Goddard again, the clearing kick from the same spot he got it out of a moment ago. Milne again down in the back half. Dempster at an awkward level, but time to collect, and here's Revolt again. Hitting up to the wing and beyond, and he has men through the corridor.
They're out everywhere here.
Geary and McWalter just beyond his range. He has the call inside from Schneider, doesn't go there. He goes short to Montagna, who has it for the 7th time.
That's the next level of development for the Richmond side, is going to be, you know, what you call transition running. So it's okay to run forward when you got it. Now on the rebound, there's a few Richmond midfielders and a few defenders that haven't worked anywhere near as hard back the other way. And you can just see, look at the Saints, look at their experienced side, hard gut running, and there were Saints out everywhere.
Not a big goal kicker, Lee Montagna. Just better than half a goal per game on average. And he doesn't boost that average here early on in round 21. Tigers competitive, but St Kilda putting a couple of scores on the board.
Ben Cousins looking to come back on. Started on the ground. He actually went to the coaching staff this week and requested a rare start, and they granted his wish. Deledio goes long to a pack. No one can pull it in.
Hi, Richmond, Dustin. Sorry, Mitch Morton, straight there.
Free kick to Morton. Back in this side, playing in the midfield, and he's got a loose player out wide. Post stabs the pass to half forward, out in front of King. It's a good bounce. He goes one way, then the other, and then blazes away and puts it out of bounds on the full.
I thought the first time he reeled around and tried to go on the left from 50 was ambitious. 2 times in a row, Jakey King. I reckon you've got to work within your limitations. I'm not sure that's part of his repertoire, but he will give you a competitive effort. You know, that's what Jake King brings to the table.
He dreams the big dream. Jake, here are the Saints working it around. Hasn't Wilt become a good player this year? He took 5 years to really make his mark at St Kilda. 41 games in 5 seasons, played all 20 this year. And he delivers this to Peake, who's been something of a surprise packet too. Came from Fremantle, obviously with hopes high in the St Kilda camp, but not everybody on the outside felt they'd be realised. He's been pretty good. Back to Fisher, now to Ray. Runs into trouble. Peake gets there to support him. Untidy. Fisher under the pump now. Rewald giving it off. King to Taylor. And Taylor kicks the goal and gets a flying start in his 3rd game.
It was great there. Good first give from Jack Revolt. 10 metres out from goal. A lot of talk about the Coleman medal. Love the defensive pressure there from Taylor. Revolt, good stuff. Probably had his legs trapped, in fairness, so he couldn't get a boot at it, even if he wanted to. But that's what you want when you've got an opportunity to give the first give it to a teammate. Good pressure from Richmond. There's a matchup that a lot of sides have been putting defensive forward pressure onto Sam Gilbert. Today, Richmond have gone with Jake King, who's going to try and follow him everywhere. And so far, Gilbert just the one possession, and Jake King we've seen with 3 and heavily involved in this contest.
Luke, I'll get your thoughts in a minute, because they've moved Jaden Post into the ruck. They've come in with just one recognised ruckman in Angus Graham. He's going head-to-head with McAvoy. Free kick to Cousins. Now Connors loads up on the left, and floating in, taking the mark is the debutant in Miles, off to Gwilt, and the Saints looking to clear it out of the defensive 50.
And McAvoy receives. Tigers perhaps just having the better of things at the moment, although St Kilda lead. Here's Miles, the first gamer, and his first kick hits the target. Montagna almost in double figures. Del Santo and Blake share it, and the ever impeccable Del Santo delivers, but he is impeccable on this occasion as his kick's chopped off by Delidio, intercepting Nick Riewoldt. Jack Riewoldt receives. He's got Jake loose, and he'll run in, and he'll make no mistake this time. Tigers in front.
Again, fantastic work from Jack Riewoldt. Pushing up the ground, he draws so much attention and so much space. You can see the confusion there. Fisher wanting to go to Riewoldt. Everyone's drawn to Riewoldt. That's where the footy's going to go, and that created some real space out the back. Jake King got the opportunity created by that man there, Jack Riewoldt. Fantastic work here from Jack Riewoldt. Unselfish, pushing up. There's Sam Fisher. You can see he wanted to go to Riewoldt as well, and he also drew Blake, and that meant there was a player free. Jake King, he's such a vital part in this side, Jack Riewoldt, that opposition players are drawn to him, and when he plays that way, he creates so much space for his teammates.
So it's the Tigers by 5 points, Luke. They've moved Graham back into the ruck, but it looks like Post will go as the backup, the Savo.
Yeah, look, I like that, Curl. It's a trend we're seeing sides go with a fair bit at the moment. You're seeing Collingwood get a heap of benefit out of Leroy Brown, who can play a number of different roles. Tom Hawkins at Geelong also. I think the second mobile ruckman who can play other positions is a really good move.
Delidio, athletic, and then speed to burn, and he gets the kick, hits the target. It's Cochin. Can he hit the target in King? He can. Jake King started on fire. He can chip it into the pocket here, and it's Jack Riewoldt.
It was just an outstanding second lead, and he just played it so nice. He's going to play on him.
He opens up the angle, and it's a pretty good idea, and Riewoldt slots through his first for the afternoon and his 69th for the season.
Hope we get another look at the double lead effort as we see Delidio, who has been very, very comfortable across half back. This kick from Cochin too was just sensational. Look at that, out on the left. How well awaited kick is that? And hopefully we can get an opportunity to see the work Riewoldt's putting in there. He goes doubles back, loses Sam Fisher, and then on the way back, that is classic forward play.
Ross Lyon's whiteboard could be endangered shortly.
Look at this great shot we've got here. Jack Riewoldt, double lead. So he went forward, Fisher slipped over, doubled back. It's just fantastic forward play to be able to work so hard. Your defender then has to take his eye off the ball, and when he did that, space was created, and Riewoldt was just too good on that occasion, one-on-one.
What a magnificent start he's made here. He's produced 2 goal assists, and he's kicked 1 for himself now, and that was no mean effort. It was a glorious kick from a pretty tight angle, and he is the dominant figure in the game, closely followed by this fellow Montagna, who's forced wide though this time, and the Tigers are really up and running. Nahas down the back receiving and giving to Moore, now Thursfield, and they're playing with growing confidence. Here goes Connors, just dabbing it short. Edwards, Cousins crashing in, but not quite able to go all the way, was Gordis. Now Delidio, and Richmond are on the build again, and here he comes, and he's got it. and he might get 50. He will. It's a certain goal.
Hey, Tim, how's St.Kilda travelling?
I'm not hopping off.
Not just yet. Tell you what, there's some
Give me
signs
5 minutes.
Okay, we'll come back to you, Tim. If you've got something big to say, let us know. I have. This man here is a star, and he's just showing us again why he may well win the Coleman medal. What a start to this game. And look at that double team. His hands are just so good. And what he's done really well is what his coach Damien Harwick wants. He wants him to push up at times, then go back. I think in the last month he got a little too focused on just being the man in the goal square. He's back to his absolute best so far here today.
So the Tigers have stunned the Saints early on, and there's the Coleman medal tally live. Jack Revolt 3 goals clear of Barry Hall, who's in action in Sydney tonight. And the Tigers looking to surge again. Morton, it breaks clear. Montagna, bouncing ball to half forward Peak. Gives it off to the other Revolt. Haven't seen too much of him. Del Santo out in front. Well played by Rance. It was coming through. In fact, it was Gordis. Good defensive effort, and he wins the free.
Yeah, he taked it nicely, Kel, didn't he? Really went after it. Not sure about that kick, although it's come off, but really good, positive play.
Gee, they're taking risks, and they're playing tremendous football at the moment, the Tigers. Rank underdogs. Tuck puts them forward, but gives it up straight to Blake. Ray and St Kilda needing some steadiness here. Now Graham, there's a punishing kick at the ball, but that one falls straight into the lap of Connors. And the Tigers are holding up, doing it well. Here's Cousins. And away he goes. And he swings them forward, and that's well weighted. Beautifully weighted to Collins. 70 out. They're attacking at all costs. Tuck to Morton, who can kick a goal. Edwards put under the pump. And it was a very good tackle by Armitage. Spillage to Miles, to McAvoy, to Goddard, who methodically kicks to midfield. Saints have the crummers. McWalter, Schneider, put under pressure though, and they weren't able to maintain possession. They win it back. Dempster, Schneider, and Revolt getting to the drop. Has to wait for the bounce. Paddle, collect, roll, run, and miss. Or did he? He kicked it. Of course he kicked it. He's a champion. The Revolts and the Rewolts have 4 between them. There are fires burning at both ends of the ground.
Yeah, so this was the big contested ball to be won. It was a really good effort initially from Tuck, but then it spilled out the weight of numbers for St Kilda. They had to go on the other way. The Tigers had some loose men forward of the footy. That much space for Nick Revolt. He's always going to be too good. And you can just see Will Thurstill there just coasting a little bit. It's a hard ask to play Nick Revolt, but you'd like to see him just a little closer and maybe with a better starting position. The ball went out the back. The finish from the other Revolt was sensational.
Well, we were hoping for a Revolt shootout. So far, it has delivered. The Tigers by 11 points. And we've still got just under 9 minutes left in this opening term. That's a free kick going to the Saints. Montagna, the high ball out in front was Kazitsky. Kazitsky with a great contested mark, and that's what we need to see more of him to do on the eve of the finals.
This is classic Kazitsky, isn't it? When he's playing really well and he's got his confidence up, he just has always been so brave, the way he keeps his eye on the footy. He launches himself full ball at the ball, and if they stick like that, it just makes such a difference to this side. It gives Nick Revolt a hand. It means that he doesn't have to carry the whole way to the side, and he's very, very capable of converting.
Took a couple of good contested marks last week against North Melbourne. Played a bit in the ruck, started up forward, and he slots one home, and the Saints peg one back.
Geez, that makes St Kilda a more potent side, doesn't it? When you've got another big unit down there who can go clunk, take a contested mark, and go back and just slot them through from about 50. And we've seen him do it. We've seen him. We know he's capable of it. He's got the ability to do it consistently. He's Just his 20th goal for the season. Fair bit down on what he was able to produce last year, but it's not too late for him to have a big impact on this season.
I like it, Das. Classic Kajitsky, you said. Sounds like the name of a classical record, doesn't it? It hasn't been selling terribly well lately, but it looks as though it might be making a comeback.
Yeah, or a good racehorse that's had an indifferent time, that's about to just set itself for the spring, and maybe that's what he's capable of doing, Justin Kajitsky.
Well, their twin towers have kicked 3 between them. That is great news for the Saints, and this is even better. Peak just missed, hit the stick. Got a game. It's been a terrific first quarter.
Yeah, the Richmond side has been able to use the ball by foot really well. Their kicking efficiency is well above 70%. The issue is going to be, can they sustain that? Young side who have just got it going nicely at the moment, but the forward pressure from St Kilda will just continue to, I suppose, add the challenge to this young side.
It's been a good opening quarter here. High scoring. Delidio short to Newman, and then gives it off. This is Gordis, needs to get rid of it. Looking around, back to Rance. He's in 2 minds. Goes short to Connors. Caught. Almost legged. Play on, says the umpire. Over the top to Thursfield, forced to stand and wait, and now Connors. Is it play on advantage?
And they're getting through at the moment, Kel. That's the hard part. You break them down, now you get space inside 50. Jack Revolt's on, you want to get it to him.
Taylor to post, and Post, well, it was an awkward kick. Graham gives it back to Post. Hemmed in against the boundary line. Graham just hacks it. Goes high, in front, unable to take the mark was Cochin. Nahas buzzing around, buzzing, in and under. And it'll be a ball up.
Last year, St Kilda was almost impossible to work it through their own forward 50. They took that part of the game to a whole new level. Hasn't been as good this year. They've had their issues. As we see, Bloodroot looks as though Patterson's going to come off, and an opportunity to have a bit of a spell. Fairly decent whack in the head that he's just caught. Collingwood are the side that has now taken that to a whole new level. We talk about pressure inside the forward 50. St Kilda last year were #1 for scores generated inside their own forward half of the ground. They've dropped down to 12 in that area this year, but over the last couple of weeks we've seen a sign that maybe that is back on the improve. Although so far in this game, Richmond have really been able to work it pretty nicely out of their own half-back line.
His front end looking good for St Kilda. Not so the back half. Del Santo and Graham and Montagna, who is well into double figures now. That was number 12 for the quarter. And classic Kajitsky's got it again. So it's a freewheeling start to the game, and plenty to enjoy. Peak receiving from Kajitsky. Got a long option over on the other wing from Miles. It was just a bit too long though, so he goes to Gilbert and then on to Miles, and the first gamer gives it back to Gilbert on the burst. Bad kick straight to Rance for the Tigers, sweeping it to his skipper, dabbing it to Asprey, but Montagna has the footy for the 13th time in the quarter,
and he's spotted up a target. Kick doesn't quite make it. Dempster flew. Almost brought down a classic. Geary just stabs it inside 50. Bodies on the line. Goddard went in hard. Spills clear. Gilbert tries to break a tackle. Tries to break 2. Ball in dispute. Bodies piling in from all angles. Umpire says knock it out. Peaks on the bottom, spinning out of trouble. Well, Schneider, they're going backwards just to buy some time and space. And then it was Miles that loads up, but it's all Tigers dropping the mark. Oh, it wasn't a good piece of play there. Post, Cousins, caught high, free kick.
Advantage the call. Just a kick from Luke Miles on debut. Not what his coach will want. Just needs a little more poise than that going inside 50.
Asprey, gee, that was a good kick. Well controlled to Nahas, who was the meat in the sandwich if it was less than perfect. To Collins, Nahas again. Newman threading it in the Rewalt direction. Picks it up just above the sand. 60 metres out.
They get him enough one-on-ones today, Jack Rewalt. He's capable of kicking a big bag.
Crowded 50, which was the St Kilda way. But he's been all team. Here comes Taylor from behind. Oh, but in front. Better still, Cochin directly in front. Man on the mark about 13 metres out.
He's a beauty, this man, Trent Cotchin. For a midfielder to just launch himself inside a big pack and take a contested mark like that. We've already seen him bowl over Snyder with that core strength that's, dare I say, an Ablett and Judd-like. He is a beauty, this man.
And he stretches the lead back out to 10.
A lot of people get excited when they come to the footy and see Trent Cotchin play the game. Because of things like that, he's still got a long way to go in terms of his aerobic base. He's had some fitness issues, but when you can take contested marks and also just the strength he shows, it's just such an exciting package. Have a look at this contested mark. Trent Cotchin just set himself beautifully. For a midfielder to do that, so exciting.
It was a free kick to Rance in the middle, and now the high ball comes in. Big pack flies, Revolt, an opportunistic goal kicker, not quite. Well, Jack Revolt mentioned last week in the media there's a little bit of magic in the air, Tim, at Punt Road.
Well, he's producing plenty of it. And the comparison with that St Kilda defence of last year is so pertinent, because teams were battling to kick 5 goals in a quarter against them, and here we have the Richmond front half, which hasn't been notable apart from Revolt for its scoring ability, and it is punching holes through St Kilda, and it's hurt the Saints on the turnover. Patterson doing the ruck work back from that wound. Armitage, though, giving it off. Del Santo and Revolt to Montagna. These two, the stars for the Saints. Now Blake has gone forward. Well done, Newman. And Taylor there to help his captain. To Morton. To Deledio. And the Tigers set up again. And it's open up front. King is there. Revolt arrives. And he'll get a free kick. Or a mark perhaps paid. Yeah, he's paid the mark.
Yeah, he's paid the mark. Hear the umpire say. Umpire saying he controlled the foot, he just came out and hit the ground well.
He's lucky.
Unbelievably lucky.
Very lucky.
Tell you what was really, I suppose, impressive for Richmond in that build-up was just how quickly they got it out of half back again, and Delidio's kick was just magnificent.
So with 2 next to his name, he's bringing it back, and he's got his 3rd, and the Tigers lead by 17.
A little bit of luck there for Jack Revolt. Umpire just went a little early with the whistle, I think, and then decided to back himself in and pay the mark. Certainly wasn't a mark on replay, but what a quarter from Jack Revolt. 9 disposals, 6 marks, 3 goals, 1, and a couple of assists to go with it.
Well, their energy is infectious at Tigerland, and when they surge, they really surge in a wave. Trent Cotchin on the bench watching on. It is the Tigers by 17 points. Graham, Martin, putting his head over the ball was Moore. Peake holds the ball to him. And we'll have a secondary bounce.
Ross Lyon looking on it. Love watching Dustin Martin there. He just goes full bore, head over the foot. He does not have any concern for his own safety when anyone's around, and at the moment Richmond have made an incredible start in this game.
Goddard thumps it clear, and the advantage of Nahas. Clever tap just down to Moore, back to Edwards. They're taking them on at all costs, although that was an awkward looking kick, and as a result a turnover. Goddard shares it around, back to the debutant in Miles. Has a bit of a dash, confidence is up, and then it's a long high ball. Revolt was there, so too Kazitsky. The Tigers defence under pressure, under siege. It's going to be held up. Won't come out of there.
Been able to do pretty well there, the Richmond defence. Rance has been able to drop back, and you can see here on that occasion he was the 3rd man in, able to get a fist in, not allow Revolt the space and Kazitsky the space they want.
Didn't think we'd be saying it today, but the Saints could do with a goal right now. Cochin, though, prizes the ball out. And away go the Tigers, but Wilt stands in their way. And St Kilda load up again. Goddard. Blake running forward. And probing the other flank. And that's a solid grab from Armitage. He'll be kicking from about 50. Back in the team, he's had periods out of the side this year through injury and loss of form.
It's a nice switch there from Goddard. Took it away from this Medallion Club side of the ground, across through the corridor, and it just opened up the outer side and some space for Armitage.
He's looking to make the most of his opportunity today, close to the finals. So from a few centimetres inside the paint, that is a good kick. He can kick a goal.
Straight to the interchange bench for Armitage. This is the play that's really created. It's what I love about Brendan Goddard. He just always plays the right decision at the right time. Never tries to overdo it. Takes responsibility, takes the right option more often than not.
So Armitage kicks the goal and then straight to the bench on the phone. Just his 8th game this season. Still trying to cement his spot in the side, in the midfield that usually consists of Hayes, Del Santo, Montagna ahead of him. Another clearance here for the Tigers. It's a high ball steaming out his Revolt. Eyes only for the footy. Nearly took a couple of Saints players out. Geary looking to mop up, puts it out in front of Ray, overruns it. Edwards keeps it in play, twisting, turning out of trouble. Good smother by Montagna. That's possession number 16, and we're still in the opening term. Now Del Santo, defensive side of the wing. Tigers applying relentless pressure in this opening term. Saints a little hesitant. Revolt flies from behind, can't bring it down. Kazitsky, Goddard, peak, and then he's got a man wide who he can release, camped underneath it. Good defensive punch came from Collins. Geary, still a chance here. This is Armitage, loads up. Has it got the distance? Oh, mark on the line. It was Graham that loaded up. And the mark's been paid. The goal being paid to Jason Graham.
Yeah, it was the space inside 50 again. You can see Ross Lyon talking to his assistants. Cozzy flew for it. We'll get a good look at it again. And the umpire was either going to be a goal if Cozzy had it gone back and slotted through. The umpire said that Graham's ball had enough over it. Looking at that angle, you can see that that was clearly a goal. And again, Jason Graham is a player who has had a year where he just hasn't been able to get all that much consistency. But now he's had 6 or 7 weeks. He's such an important player in their side because he can do that. He can run in the midfield. He's a long penetrating kick and he can score goals.
So with the quarter almost done, the Saints are back within 5 points. It's only the second time this year they've given up 6 goals in an opening term, and they didn't do it once last year, their grand final year. So Richmond have done very well, but St Kilda hitting back like a good team late in the piece. And at quarter time, the margin has been pruned back to just 5 points.
Fantastic first quarter of football. Tim made the point about the St Kilda defence having 6 goals kicked against it in the first quarter. In 2009, they didn't allow the ball out of their own forward line, which didn't expose their defence more. Great start for Richmond. Well done to Jack Revolt. He played the role that his coach wants him to. He's so unselfish. He pushed up the ground. And then when he got his opportunities, Tim, he took every single one of them in the first quarter.
Well, the Commonwealth Games in Delhi are just 43 days away. And as we saw in Melbourne in 2006, they're a great sporting show and a rich cultural experience. You'll see over 200 hours of coverage on 10 and 1 with exclusive coverage of the opening and closing ceremonies from Delhi.
Try and get off, get third man up and make sure Revolt doesn't get one-on-ones.
Well, what a turnaround from when these two sides met in round 11. The Tigers were kept goalless in the opening term on that occasion. This time round, they lead by 5 points. Schneider over the top.
All three players had it. I'll have it, thanks.
And we'll go again on the edge of the centre circle.
In fact, they went a long way in that game without kicking one, Kellen. It was beginning to look as though they mightn't get one.
I think the Saints might have kicked the first 7, in fact. McAvoy and Graham. Ray takes it out of the ruck. Morton dispossessed. Ray goes again. Might have been in the back. Cochin.
Just keep an eye on Brendan Goddard here. He's just sitting himself behind this stoppage to the right of screen. He's back about 20 metres. And what he'll try and do, there he is. He's always going to try and get back. He'll let his man get 20 metres of space. His opponent was 20 metres in front. He's looking back. Where's Jack Revolt? Where's Revolt? I'll read it better, and I'll take some marks in defence and try and shore up that part of the ground for St Kilda.
Ray clearing kick, beats Revolt. And now Rance goes back and offers some support to his defensive teammate in Thursfield. Handball's clear. It was a free downfield. It'll be held up here.
Good call, I think, by Stuart Wynn, because they were getting themselves into a bit of bother, and so he was quick and decisive.
Edwards, one of 3 Richmond players that has played every game so far this season, and now the switch is on. They flick it to Graham. Deledio, usually pinpoint on his pass. Asprey came out late. And now the Saints still under enormous pressure. Asprey applies the tackle, forced to go backwards, puts Miles, the first gamer, under all sorts of pressure. Cool head, though, flicks it to Fisher, and then wider still to Montagna, Tim. Possession number 17.
Yes, he keeps it ticking over with an early one in the second to Graham. Now McWalter and Milne, who's been up the ground constantly. Gilbert Ford to the centre. Dempster, not a big scorer, didn't go for broke, goes for a revolt, and he'll get a free kick. As Thursfield, like so many defenders in the past, overplayed him.
Yeah, blow time off, so don't play on. Marcus here, Will, please. Blow time
Not
off,
by
man.
much.
Hold the footy.
Yeah, he's got a reasonable case there, I reckon, Will Thursfield. It's hard enough trying to defend this man at the best of times. And look, you can argue it's probably technically correct. Not a heap in it. He had every effort he could to try and make sure it was a fair contest. Umpire has erred on paying the free kick.
So on the revolt calculator, it's 3 to the Tiger, 2 to the Saint, and it stays that way.
I reckon this was great at quarter time. You can see Jack Revolt. Brendan Goddard comes down now. You can lip read that. You coming to me? A bit of a smile. And I think self-confidence is going to be an issue for Jack Revolt at any stage in his career.
Don't think he's short on confidence at all. The Tigers have turned it over here. Revolt's stolen it.
Well, I mentioned kicking efficiency, Curl, was going to be the thing. So they kept going at about 75% as it did in the first quarter. Well, they're capable of winning this game, but a young side who's just developing their skills by foot, especially when they're trying to hit targets like that back through the corridor, always a risk you're going to turn it over.
Just a lapse in concentration, and Nick Revolt will punish the Tigers from directly in front, or perhaps he won't. Let's call it a let-off.
I was just pumping up how good he looked and how confident he looked by foot. That's what we've seen in the past, and those 30-metre balls, you know, directly in front where they're a gimme for players. He sometimes changes his routine. He sometimes tightens up. Have a look at this. So just the ball drop at the last minute. He didn't get anywhere near the connection he wanted. Followed through, probably lifted his head early, and as a result, dragged it out to the right.
Dangerous thing as a commentator to go with the early trend, does. Saints ball. Montagna, number 18. That is ambitious, overly so. Cochin takes it away. Newman pulled off the kick legally by Schneider. Very well played by Adam Schneider. To Ray and Kajitsky. And what a good turnover that was. And affected quite deliberately by the Saints.
This is brilliant from Schneider. Well called, Tim. Look at that. He didn't give away the free kick. Enough pressure to turn it over, pick it up, give off the handball. Now, Ross Lyon doesn't get overly animated, but he will be smiling on the inside with that. That is their A1 game plan. Turn it over inside their own forward half of the ground with pressure and then use it well enough back inside 50.
Classic Kajitsky. Ludwig von. And that is perfect. But is it long enough? Yes, it is. He's just made the grade. It's his second, and the Saints are in front.
Yeah, there it is again. Forward half pressure. And some really good signs for Justin Kosicki today, the way he's moved. And when he's going well, that is the other great part of his game, is being able to kick long goals from outside 50. But enough good signs so far in this game for Justin Kosicki. You can see him competing well. That is great to see him being able to do that. Follow-up second efforts. Really enjoyed this contested mark. And what he has been able to do throughout his career is draw the footy and kick long goals, and he started very well today.
Edwards handballs to Cousins, kicks to centre half forward. Revolt is lurking, and then he wraps up Fisher. He can do everything this afternoon. And he just lets Sam Fisher know he's not going to let him get any easy ball this afternoon.
There's Stewie Lowe looking on.
One of the Saints' greats.
A very passionate Saints man that still, I believe, comes every week. Sits down there with the Saints scarf on, and he'll be enjoying his side.
McAvoy, Del Santo. Handball to no one in particular. And it's coming back. It'll be a Tigers ball. This is the Irishman, O'Reilly, who's just going to put it to the top of the goal square. Big pack was Taylor that flew from behind. And it's a free going to the Saints. McAvoy to Goddard. He hits up Dempster.
So perhaps the Saints finding a bit of rhythm, although that remains to be seen. Now, that's not a good sign. Jason Blake looks like, well, an arm or a shoulder.
Looks like a wrist, I reckon, Tim.
Keep us posted, Andy. Here goes McWalter. Dempster. Montagna, number 19. We've got the Montagna calculator going. Blake wants to play on as the Saints build now. It's too strong, is it, for Revolt? Gee, bodies colliding everywhere there, and it's a Richmond free.
And Snyder are both down, and Revolt looks to be getting up really slowly here. Oh no.
Alex, come back.
No, good sign. Good sign he's up, but it was just a really heavy knock, and they're both sore. I don't think any untoward, and Blake and Strife as well.
Three of them. It's like a war zone. Verticality is a comforting sign at moments like that for supporters. Here's Big Angus Graham, and Rewalt's got it again, and he's only 35 out. Let's have a look at the collision. Rewalt in full of courage as ever, but taking out his teammate.
See Snyder just grab his knee, so just smashed right into the ribs and glute region for Revolt. He's up, maybe just the old-fashioned corky for both of them.
Seasons to be made and broken on incidents like that. That is Jack Rewalt's fourth goal.
He's a sore boy, Adam Snyder. But the good news is that he is up and running and moving in. See that Blake also saw. Revolt has stayed out there, so sore, but hopefully fine, all three Saints.
Well, the Tigers have regained the lead, and in the blink of an eye, a couple of big injuries for the Saints. There's Blake.
Was the elbow too, Cal? It wasn't the wrist, it was the elbow.
Yeah, we can see him just bottom left-hand screen, clutching at that elbow. Play underway, back in the middle. Del Santo, Graham, clever, taps to Montagna, goes back and gets it. Graham, speed to burn, loves kicking them from outside 50, lets himself down on this occasion. Gordis, out wide, Ray's closing, eyes for the footy, good contested mark. Out in front of the ruckman, Graham. Wonderful closing speed. Goddard to Dempster, and then he kicks in the Kosicki direction. Could have been taken high, has been taken high, wins a free. Good to see Revolt still out on the field after that heavy collision. Schneider off with perhaps some concerns with his left knee.
Let's have a look at this contest here, and Nick Revolt called out of it by Kaczynski, and that's good communication. And great for St Kilda if they can have this man standing up the way he is today. It's as good as I've seen him move for a while. His hands are good, and he's been kicking it superbly.
3 kicks and 2 marks already for 2 goals. And that from just inside the 50 makes it 3. It's goal for goal at Etihad Stadium.
Interesting one there. Gordis did try to mark, and you wouldn't say it was an unrealistic attempt to mark. And even though it looks like an obvious free kick, I reckon there's actually a case that he's unlucky, because the rules say that if you're trying to mark, realistically, it's okay to make contact. So for the second time in the quarter, St Kilda grab back the lead. Both times courtesy of Justin Kaczynski goals. But they're still in a dogfight. Graham, height advantage, winning in the ruck. Edwards swept off it. Morton helps it to Tuck. Blazing, but he has a man under the ball, and it's Nahas.
Wait! Play on now! Play on!
Who goes long? God! What a magnificent mark that was! Hit the pack at full tilt, towered over the top of it, and has taken one of the best of the year. That was classical. And the crowd watching it replayed on the scoreboard, giving another whoop of exultation and sheer spontaneous excitement at that. The Saints work it around as the moment of excitement subsides.
Adam Schneider there just getting some work done following that heavy collision with Nick Revolt. Revolt up and running. Looks to be fine.
Plenty of highlights already in this game as Connors burst through the centre. The smother by Geary. Now Peake. He spots a man out wide in Patterson, over the top to Montagna. Montagna from 60, unselfishly looking for Kaczynski. Gordis playing in front. Takes the relieving defensive mark. Plays on quickly, out wide, Nahas.
Montagna just signalling back to Cozzy saying, I want you to move there. And Kaczynski's looking back at him saying, I want you to kick it longer and higher. So a bit of a breakdown in communication between those two.
Tuck takes on 3 St Kilda players. Finally gets some help from Cousins. Spins around. King gives away the free.
A little unlucky there, Jake King. I think could mount a case that he just tripped over his feet. Sam Gilbert.
Have a look at the Cousins calculator. He's on 8 disposals. Hasn't had enormous impact, but certainly a solid pass. Here go the Saints. Del Santo for Kaczynski again. Well done, Gordis, who's done good things, but Milne's dangerous here. He gives it away, and Montagna adds to his stats.
Again, Cozzy's given a really good contest. Created a front and centre opportunity for Milne. An unselfish play from Milne over the top to Montagna, who's had 22. 8 contested possessions, 5 clearances and a goal. Pretty reasonable first half. How good was that?
That has to be contender Luke.
Just brilliant stuff. And, you know, it's so smart about the way he read it. He knew that the footy was going to come to Revolt. Paid no respect to his own man and just launched himself and took it as clean as anything.
That's reckless by Patterson, playing his first game against his old side this afternoon. And now the ball goes long. Revolt flew early. It comes down to King, who kicks the goal.
Don't underestimate how good Jake Revolt is in this again. That is a pack of 3 Saints defenders, and they've got every right from one of them to mark it. Have a look at this, just set up for a Saint. 3 of them in the box seat. Reebok just draws some pressure, just enough to make them nervous around him. And that's an opportunity created for an easy front and centre goal. Jake King, the right spot at the right time.
What's Ross Lyon thinking, Das? They conceded 8 goals in the first quarter. As we said, it happened once last year. It hasn't happened. Oh, no, it happened once this year, not once last year. And the goals are still coming.
Yeah, judging by his body language, Tim, he thinks that it's certainly not going to plan so far in this match. They value so much their ability to defend and restrict the opposition from scoring. At the moment, when Richmond go forward, they look like getting the ball inside 50 and scoring every time.
There's Gwilt. Geary, but he's well met at ground level. I think it was Cousins, was it? Coming the other way. And Damien Hardwick joins the throng of those who are often confused by holding the ball. Jake King it was, who was penalised, and presumably someone said a word or two because there's a 50-metre penalty. Have a look. Geary got there first. King in, dived on it, didn't get it out. Free kick and 50. Gwilt, thumping kick. Revolt weighted down and then appeals for the mark. Doesn't get it. Tigers come away with it. O'Reilly hoping for Nahas. Stolen by Geary. McWalter. Revolt. Now Geary. No pressure. Shocking kick.
Absolute shank of a kick, wasn't it?
Choked on it.
Certainly did. But that, I know I focused it on it a bit, that is what St Kilda want to do better. They were the #1 side last year at launching scores from inside 50, as they did then, although Geary didn't score, albeit it should have, from 30 metres out directly in front. In 2009, they just didn't allow anyone to get it out of half back. And now in 2010, they're just allowing this a little too easily. Richmond able to use it well by foot without as much forward pressure. When they do that well, St Kilda become a really hard side to play against.
Cochin, high ball straight to Gilbert. Takes the easy overhead mark. Haven't seen too much of that full court press that the Saints are renowned for this afternoon. And now Gilbert switches it from behind Schneider, the spoil. Sits up for King and he'll take them on. He's dispossessed. Oh, he rides the bump. Gwilt came in hard. Oh, the umpire's going to call a bounce.
You got to love this about Jake King. He knows when he puts himself in that position, he opened himself wide up to get hammered. He loves dishing it out, but he can take it as well. Look at this. He knows he's in a vulnerable position. Did not take his eyes off the footy. Brilliant effort.
That is a bone-jarring hit.
Holding. Angus Graham.
Free to the Tigers. It's against Patterson. So Graham looking left, looking right, goes straight down the centre in front. Fisher. As Cousins comes back onto the ground.
So if Jack Revolt had just put his hand slightly in over the mark,
clear mark and he stepped forward, took the block. Away, thanks. That's forward in the mark.
String of 50s conceded by the Tigers. Goddard. Now Peake. Pumping it. Revolt with the sit from behind. Koschitzki up as well. Rance came down with the ball off the hands of others. Milne gone. Let go of it. The tackle came. And he's penalised for holding it. Delidio's footy for Richmond. And he has to go for safety, and Cousins is a safe option. Low, awkward for O'Reilly. The Irishman did well enough. Back to Cousins. Second gamer and a 269 gamer. And the old Fox works his way out of it to Rance. Though that kick's not good, and it's going to be coming back quickly. Gilbert just checking the kick. Not making a good fist of it. Work it around. Ray, Geary. Now Blake. Geary, and they're forced back. Fisher. Now down the corridor. Goddard. That's a good-looking ball off the boot. It's a beauty, and McAvoy did some damage as he took the mark. Little Nahas having to confront him face on.
when you're forward. Nahas got Polak's there. Goddard got it back, played on.
And kicks superbly. That's the Saints by 9 points.
When Brendan Goddard gets the footy inside the midfield and has some time to use it, it just spells disaster for any side. His ability to kick it is just as good as anyone in the competition. He gets it in the middle of the ground. There's numbers back, but that ball there that came from Revolt to McAvoy, you could see how much space there was. There's virtually none. It had to go low, hard, and at the right height level. Goddard can just do that so well. And reward for effort. The ruckman says, you gave it to me, I'll give it back to you, because I know you'll just be able to pop it through from anywhere inside or around 50. He's just such an important part of the side, Brendan Goddard. As a midfielder, he kicks goals and he sets so many up. That's his 20th goal for the year, 19th goal for the year, in fact. So such an important part of the side.
Been a real arm wrestle in this opening half. McAvoy, Cochin stole it, kicks inside 50. Taylor just dabs it down. He's beaten to it by Miles. Nahas slung in a tackle, pops out, handball straight to Taylor, and now it's the Irishman. He kicks into the pocket. Revolt's there. Can he conjure up something? No, the kick came from O'Reilly. He was looking for Revolt.
One thing St Kilda are dominating in this game is the clearances. It was 17-7 before the Saints have won the last 4. You could mount an argument without the domination in the clearances, St Kilda could be down by 4 or 5 goals in this game, because the general play, Richmond have been outstanding.
Good tackle by Taylor as the Tigers hold it in. McAvoy, Graham, big crowd around it. Hard for the Tigers to set something up out of there. Got to try and work it clear. Have another go. There was 6 goals to 5 Richmond's way in the opening quarter. The Saints have kicked 4-2 in the second to gain the upper hand, but a long way to go yet. And now Richmond can have a go from a throw-in. Thoughtful skipper Chris Newman. Won plaudits all round this year, and his leadership has grown in stature as the Tigers look to build a future. Schneider on his wrong side, not wanting to kick. Likewise, Del Santo gives to Graham, good kick, and Revolt coming a long way up ground.
So Revolt at the halfback. There's only one St Kilda player inside 50, and that's Lee Montagna, who's had 22. It's just the big barrel. Revolt goes long down the line. Kelmore with the fist to see it over.
Since he's come back into the side, Nick Revolt has taken more marks in the lead than anyone else in the competition. 2nd overall, 4 marks behind Brian Lake. 3rd for contested marks. So all the indicators that you want for Nick Revolt are right up there.
Graham palms it down, forces Cochin to do all the hard work at ground level. And we'll go again. Some frustrations bubbling over for Damien Hardwick. Watching from the boundary up in the coach's box, Ross Lyon. He spent 4 years at Tigerland as an assistant. Must seem like an eternity ago. Tuck brought down, didn't get a kick away. McAvoy throwing his weight around, and we'll go again. So lockdown footy in the last minute or so. Just over 5 minutes remaining. It's the Saints by 9 points.
Good Jack Revolt down the other end. They've got a loose Gwilt sitting back in the space, and he's actually waving to the bench and saying, what's going on here? Can we get someone to man up Gwilt? Now Gwilt's in the box seat to mark this, and what it did, it forced the kick then to be checked, because as he looked up, didn't pick up the Richmond player who kicked it. I was looking down the other end of the field. All he saw was Gwilt standing in the hole, and Revolt was just going to the coaching staff, asking them why their structure had changed and allowed a loose in front of him.
Morton it was who put it out for the Tigers. Here goes Gilbert. Gwilt have got some left footers, the Saints. Pretty good kick, and a 3rd left footer in the chain as Del Santo got rid of the tackle very cleverly. Dempster in towards Revolt, and Schneider again on the right side to Graham collecting the half volley, but well tied up by Delidio. He lets it go on, and Milne wobbles at the wrong side.
It's all right for Jack Reebok to signal to the coaching staff, and we see what resulted from that kick out of bounds on the forward. Good tackle from Delidio. He might have been better advised, Reebok, just to go and man up that player group and create a 2-on-1, and at least give his half-forward player in Mitch Morton an opportunity to kick it to a contest. So just needed to take the initiative a little stronger on that occasion, Reebok.
Messy piece of play results in a ball up on the edge of the 50. Stephen Milne hasn't been cited too much today, just the 5 possessions. There we see Fisher lining up on Revolt. Look, it was Blake that got the job on him when they last met.
Yeah, it was a combination. They had a bit of Blake. Blake's gone off with a bit of an elbow injury. Get an update from that soon with Andy Marr. I think he might be okay, but he's been capable on both of them, Fisher and Blake, Jack Revolt, the way he's played so far in this game.
So here's Milne coming up for possession number 6. Wins the free. On the outer side. Just going to load up to the top of the goal square. Big pack flies off hands. Del Santo gets a kick away, dribbling, rolling across the face.
Good effort from Del Santo, went up front and centre. Allowed himself to be swung around in the tackle and really pulled off a miraculous goal.
Saints tightening up, and we're seeing a bit more of the grinding football that we expect from them.
We're seeing a bit more of this too, Tim. It's a really good shot of what's in front of the Richmond defence. They've been using it really well by foot in the first term, just starting to turn it over a little more. But as I've mentioned a lot of times, St.Kilda in this part of the ground traditionally have been so hard to get through, and it's starting to work for them again. They've turned it over just through pressure.
And Goddard kicks. Schneider let it go, and Kajitsky picked it up. Cousins not convinced. Moore's not convinced either. But umpire Jennings is satisfied that a clean mark was taken. Great pressure from the St Kilda back half.
Well, you see it probably bobbled out underneath, and Cousins and Kel Moore had a really good look at that. Probably don't think the mark was paid, but again, I'm sure scores launched from inside their own forward 50 would almost be the #1 stat that Ross Lyon and his team will be working on. When they get it right, they're almost unplayable.
A precious commodity. Confidence is flowing in Justin Kajitsky's veins right now. He has 4 goals. Even his misses are coming to good. And that hasn't been something you could say too often about Cozzy over the last 3 months.
So the Saints starting to pull away in the shadows of half-time. Justin Kajitsky with 4.
That stat we're showing there, Kel, is the reversal of the first term. Richmond scored 5 goals from turnovers in the first quarter. Now St Kilda, through their pressure, have turned that around.
And it's 5 goals to 2 as a result in this second term. Cousins, in his second to last game, breaking clear out of the centre, kicks it straight to Gilbert. Sam Gilbert taking all the time that he's allowed to Gwilt. And then back to Del Santo. One side to the other. Over to Miles. Luke Miles, former rookie on the senior list this year, playing his first game this afternoon. He's just going to bomb it long. Revolt is lurking in front. Tuck. A little bit of hang time in the old legs. It's a good contested mark. Short to Martin.
Just his 6th disposal, Dustin Martin.
Has been well held, Cousins, and then they flick it. Now to Rance. Wider still. And this is Connors on the right side for a left foot. Kicks it into the pocket. A big pack flies. Ball spills clear. Goddard diving handball straight to the opposition. Jack King's kicked a goal. That's his 3rd.
Very often you see Brendan Goddard just give one straight back to the opposition, albeit under enormous pressure. He's picked this up as clean as anything, flat out, about to fall over. Maybe got the call from King. He put it straight down into his arms. King is good enough to kick his third. Jakey King, he's had the role of trying to restrict Sam Gilbert, mainly as a defensive forward. So he'll be judged just on the influence of Gilbert. He's also spent a bit of time on Goddard. The bonus is, in doing that, he's also been able to kick 3 goals.
He's not quite Stephen Milne yet, but he could be an important component for Richmond if he could keep this sort of rate up. Peak kicks forward. Gordis led Kajitsky to the ball and kept his feet. Gives it to Connors, who goes up the line. And has he got chalk? Boundary umpire caught well behind there. It's been called out, I think. No, it'll be a throw-in from back where the kick occurred. It was out of bounds before Connors got boot to ball. Damien Hardwick's persevered with Gordis on Kajitsky. He's been a bit unlucky. Delivery good to Kajitsky, and on a couple of occasions a lucky mark and a free kick that might not have been there have favoured the Saint. Here go the Tigers. Connors, Nahas. Connors keeps going. If the hand pass had been clean, it was a really good move. Graham, O'Reilly. Now through Morton, they advance. Rewalt got his hands on. Well crumbed by Cochin. Can he wobble it home? He can. Well done by the Tigers. That's a great goal. Trent Cochin's second, and they really worked for that. When they got into trouble, they were prepared to stop and go back, reload, and they did it very effectively.
It's also the great advantage, isn't it, of having a big power forward who draws defenders and always gives the contest. Not only has he been able to kick goals, Jack Rewalt, in the first half, he's just created so many for his teammates through that pressure. And then you've got suddenly small forwards, Cochin, you've got Jake King, you've got all of their midfielders pushing down, knowing they'll get a contest. They know Rewalt won't get out marked. Best place to be is at the fall of the ball. When you have the quality of Cochin, he's capable of picking it up and scoring. He has been sensational. Cochin benefiting hugely from Rewalt.
Another score involvement for Rewalt, making 8 for the day. He's kicked 4 himself. He's played a hand in 4 others. He's been superb. And the Tigers have made a real game of this. At half-time, the unbackable favourites, St Kilda, lead by only 5 points.
There he is. Jack Rewalt came into this contest really excited about what he was going to do today. He has not let us down with 4 goals, as you mentioned, 8 score involvements to go with 10 positions. Nick Rewalt at the other end performing beautifully. Great second half coming up, Tim.
And great finals football coming up too in just 2 weeks from now. Don't miss it.
Hope in his heart, dreams in his head. Jack Anthony, he's done it! Forget all those goals he's ever kicked before. He traded them all for that
one. Permissible.
I don't know if I like that from Stuart Wen. You're batting so far out of your league. OK, go and tell him. Don't be disrespectful, umpire.
No,
not your place to do it. Pretty ordinary stuff.
And treat all players as equals, I think, would be a fundamental tenet of umpiring.
Pretty ordinary effort, that.
And he wouldn't be saying that to certain players. St Kilda's footy. Montagna starting the second half as he began the first, in which he had 25 possessions. But Richmond's defence holds up. Moore gives to Tuck. Cousins, and he gives to Edwards.
Edwards goes short to Martin. Didn't see too much of it in the opening half. And then he puts his teammate under pressure, who was forced to stop, and charging out was Rewalt, and he's picked it off, and then he picks off a target inside 50, McQualter. who will go back and line up to kick the first in the third for St Kilda. In fact, he's going to give it off, and it's Del Santo goes short in the pocket, loose players everywhere. Patterson takes the mark.
Dustin Martin's kick was high risk to go back through the corridor, but the reason why Richmond are in this game is because they have been doing that. They've been executing their skills, kicking efficiency by foot 71% in the first half. Now, can they keep that up, young side, against this team that's renowned for their forward pressure? That'll be the issue. Turnovers probably going to cost them here, though.
Adam Patterson, 18 games in the black and yellow last year. Here he is, first game against his old side and his first goal for St Kilda.
And that would give him a lot of pleasure, but it's giving considerable chagrin to the Richmond coach. 61 games for Richmond, Adam Patterson.
Well, this is the start of the second half, and you just see umpire Stuart when he went back and had a little chat to Connors. But what I didn't like was the language he used. "You're batting so far out of your league, young man," was the word that he said. I thought it was a touch disrespectful. Didn't think that needed to be the case. I like the fact he went over and warned him and said, "Don't put your arm in his back," but probably not your role to speak in that sort of way to players.
Martin takes the advantage for Richmond, as there was a free kick there if they wanted it. Tigers dangerous. St Kilda defence really hardening up in the second quarter. And Miles has done pretty well. Started that move and now receives and can complete the clearance for the Saints. And Patterson, fresh from a goal, takes the mark. Montagna again, and Milne, whose role has been almost exclusively up towards the middle of the ground today, places it in front of Revolt. Now Schneider on the preferred, but not a great kick, but very well taken by Kajitsky, and the ball's fallen for him today.
An exceptional take. He goes back to Revolt and turns it over, but the take was elite.
Tigers managed to hold up. Connors confidently. Cousins, his sometime mentor during this season, kicks to Delidio. Margin 11. Tigers still close enough, if good enough, and it's a big if. I think the umpire is saying play on, and Delidio delivers to Edwards. Cousins, lovely collect off his bootlaces. Now Morton, pumping ball, and Rewald has the sit, and he'll get a free. Front on contact, perhaps a hold from Fisher, and Jumping Jack can line up for number 5.
Good build up there. Okay, thank you. Edwards is handball over the top, even though it was a half volley for Cousins. It gave the momentum, and this kick was really good. Drew some pressure from Fisher. Bit of hand in the face there from
6 of one and half a dozen of the other, isn't it? Hellishly difficult job, but they should call the first infringement they see, and that's what the umpire did, and Rewald kicks his 5th.
He's such a good one-on-one player, Jack Revolt. He'll back himself in against any defender if you give him space inside 50. He got a bit of it there. He got a good ball and just drew the free kick from Fisher.
So Jack Rewald's 5th keeps Richmond close. Now here's Nick at the other end of the ground, and look at the divot that came up there. Look, that ball was almost stuck in it. A lot of sand was employed when the ground was having some real problems 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's pretty loose.
So the Tigers hit straight back in the third. They will not be denied. Cousins, Nahas, Connors. Looking for Asprey, caught underneath the ball. Blake takes the defensive mark to Goddard. Took a screamer in that opening half. Took an eternity to get rid of it. And then just kicks for the safety of the boundary line. And just finds it. There'll be a nervous Barry Hall watching this unfold this afternoon. He's stuck on 67 goals. Of course, Jack Revolt with his 5 this afternoon is up to 73. So he is 6 clear in the battle for the Coleman. As hacked out of the air there, Armitage, a real up and under. Patterson putting his body on the line, throwing himself in. Couldn't quite haul it in, and we'll have a bounce.
Jack Riewoldt will be 21 years and 10 months by the time the last home and away round is played. It seems very young, and yet there have been plenty of full forwards who have won Coleman's at a younger age, notably John Longmire, 19 years and 8 months in 1990.
And Barry Hall's 33, Tim, and he's never won one either. Could well be decided next Sunday here at Etihad Stadium when the Tigers play Port Adelaide.
Another big name who won one at a young age was the late former chairman of the AFL Commission, Ron Evans, who was 20 years and 1 month, 1959, I think it was. Here go the Saints as we concentrate on the present. Peak, Del Santo, who's been poetry with every move. Milne again. But the umpire is paying a St Kilda free kick and adjudging that Milne had put himself under pressure. I think it's coming back to Milne, who just can't stand still and eventually is forced back. Blake, just a kick in it. Kozitsky there again. Well roved by Collins. Martin, oh, well done. And he drew high contact. People will say put his head down, but it was a legitimate escape attempt.
Had a bit of the Joel Selwood about it. He's very good at drawing those sort of free kicks.
Cousins gone there. Great tackle, Armitage, no doubt about that. He wouldn't have got him 2 or 3 years ago.
Might have been a bit of a chuckle from Cousins when he knew he got him as well, as the Saints push forward again. Del Santo to Graham, who loves them from outside 50. Riewoldt there. Takes the mark.
Only a few years ago that Jason Graham was exclusively used to cross half-back. Ross Lyon, the umpire, just trying to square Riewoldt up.
It's amazing, is it 1 centimetre inside the square and he kicks from straight in front. 1 centimetre out and he's on the impossible angle.
He was trying to tell the umpire that his foot was inside the square. Look, it doesn't matter in the end. Nick Riewoldt has got his third.
Just talking about Jason Graham, who, as I mentioned before, was mainly used across half-back, and then when Ross Lyon decided it needed some extra run and carry and long use of the ball in the midfield, he chose Jason Graham as one of those options, and I really like him in that role.
3 to Nick, 5 to Jack. We are enjoying a treat. Their dads, Joe in Nick's case and Chris in Jack's case, the sons of German migrants to Hobart. 3 brothers played footy down there. Chris, Jack's dad, was the best of them. And they've produced offspring who have become out-and-out champions. Here go the Tigers, 11 points down. Morton, who doesn't mind a goal but is playing up the ground now. Kicks long, but Fisher takes a fine mark. Had his hands full back there today. Stood tall then.
And another Riewoldt to enter the system next year, Tim, in Charlie. He is Jack's younger brother, cousin of Nick. High ball, big fly. It was Dempster. King roves it well. Off to Cochin. Good second effort. It came from all angles. Comes back to Deledio. It's a centering kick, and the big pack's going to fly. The defensive spoil from the Saints. Fisher, cool head, Montagna, Gwilt. They try and get it out of the defensive 50. Through Montagna. Looks like he's got plenty of time. Then he just pokes it into the centre of the ground, and the foot race is on, and Riewoldt gets there first. Gives it off to McQualter. It's all skill and all class by this St Kilda side. Peaks on the end of the passage of play. Crowd wants 50. Umpire says no.
He called it skill and class, Curl, and that was exactly what Nick Riewoldt did. There were 4 players around that ball, virtually in equal ability to win the footy, but Riewoldt just went harder and was cleaner, and he has set up this opportunity for Brett Peake.
The former Docker's going to back himself in from here. Steps right on 50. It's a good-looking kick, and it just hangs out to the right at the last minute.
Here it is. Nick Riewoldt. You saw where that ball was coming from. Riewoldt, he wasn't necessarily in the A1 position, but he just made himself the player that was going to get it because he probably wanted it more than anyone else and worked harder.
Margin 12 points. 2 goals or 1-6 as it is on the board. This is Connors.
Good to see they're still doing this, and that's backing themselves in, going across goal, using their skills by foot. And so far in the game, this has been the area that has allowed them to compete with St Kilda. Efficiency by foot 74%. That one slightly turned over, but it takes courage to do what Connors did then, Tim. That's go across the goal, put yourself under a bit of pressure, and they're doing it really nicely.
And the last of the kicks was Jamie O'Reilly, the Irishman, and he looks a natural kick of the ball in the Australian game. Some of the Irishmen tend to prod it around a bit, do it pretty effectively. Jim Steins, Satadero helping, even Ty Kennelly. O'Reilly is a lovely natural looking kick. Here's big Graham, and the big fellow played it well. And here's O'Reilly again, and he shows a bit of perk and dash. Riewoldt waiting down and almost getting his hands on it there. Gilbert's got it though for the Saints. Fisher. And St Kilda off the hook for the moment. Connors getting back, an awkwardly spinning ball. Controlled it well, kicked it badly. Cousins, pressure from Graham and Blake. Milne, Connors back for another go. Can hold it up and keep it in Richmond's attacking half.
And Damien Hardwick really enjoyed that. Umpire encouraging to let it go. Ross Lyon focuses a lot, as do a lot of sides now, on that pressure we talk about inside 50. But Damien Hardwick will be equally impressed there. It was a situation where he really needed his forwards to work hard, and they did, and they've trapped it here just outside 50.
Hard to believe this is the same Tigers side that lost by 89 points just a week ago to Carlton. Really throwing down the challenge to one of the premiership favourites here this afternoon. It's the Saints by 12 points. Just over 11 minutes remaining in this third term. As Armitage, surely that's deliberate, straight to the boundary line. No one anywhere near it.
You're going to get a bit of that fluctuation with a young side with Richmond, and also new coaches. You see Jack Riewoldt go off and trying different things in different systems. At times it's not going to work and you're going to get blown out of the water. But there's just enough of a system, enough encouragement about Richmond. I can't believe where they're at this year. I think Damien Hardwick has just done an enormous job with this group. And
the transition is on here for the Saints. It'll sit up for Peake. He's got a runner running by, and Gilbert just pokes it inside 50. Riewoldt's caught behind. Thursfield did well. Delidio goes short, finds the skipper in Newman. Always good by foot. Jack Riewoldt just having a breather on the bench.
Changing his boots, Cal. He seems to be going to the shorter stop version.
Well, perhaps he's not happy with the 5 he's kicked this afternoon. In the meantime, his cousin steals it, goes long. Kazitsky, will he play on? No. He'll hold it up and go back and line it up for his 5th.
Identical to the Dustin Martin turnover. Chris Newman, the captain. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. It's their game plan. It's what their coach wants them to do. That is take a risk through the corridor. They're not quite at the stage where they're going to be able to pull it off all the time, but at least they're going to. At least they've got a plan. When they do hit those, they break free and get down and look like scoring. So they're persisting. Just on that occasion, it didn't come off.
So Justin Kazitsky should be elementary. Booted 48 goals last year. Here he is for his 5th, and he's found some confidence and he's back in town.
There's Nick Riewoldt working really hard defensively, and there's one positive they'll take out of today will be this man, because he has looked really, really strong tonight. Today, the roof's on, the lights are on, but it is the afternoon, and because he's back.
7 kicks, 5 goals for the big number 23. Classic Kazitsky music to the ears of Saints fans.
I want to know exactly what it sounds like, Tim. You're going to give us a couple of bars?
Oh, it's just beautiful, Kel.
I'll take your word for it.
And again, the Saints stretch it. It's out to 18 points, and they'll take some reeling in from there. Cousins to tuck. High ball. Well played by Geary. And he boldly took on the tackler. Excellent work. And finds the line, and the Saints fans appreciate it. One of the more unsung, or the less sung, members of St Kilda's lineup. Graham and Patterson. Graham a left-handed swat. Del Santo was held, and he's just kept racking them up. This will be number 26, and he's hardly made a mistake. That was good, and Patterson just balancing it on the palm of the hand.
He's got Cozzy out here long. If he chooses, decides to go short.
And it's Sean Dempster picking it up, and he's within range for a rare tilt at them from the former Swan. 14 goals in his 90-game career. And both revolts having a little breather during the course of this third term. Kicked 8 goals between them for the day. Here's Dempster. Nearer the behind post than the major upright. So it's a behind, and the margin is 19.
Here's Daniel Connors. 3 goals to 1 in the third term. The Saints just edging clear. The Tigers have been gutsy. He goes long. His target is Little Edwards, who was caught in a St Kilda sandwich. Spills clear. Cochin. Back to Cousins. That's touch number 20 for the afternoon. Now Martin charging through the centre of the ground. It's one-on-one out there. It's Gwilt v King. King's got plenty of stamina though, and he reads it beautifully, and he closes to forward here, and he's looking for a teammate in Taylor. Wonderful effort, Troy Taylor. He sprinted to the free region in the pocket and took the mark, and he'll go back and line up for his second.
How good's little Jakey King been today? He just has a massive crack. Gwilt fell over. Look at him go. He just goes hard and centred the ball beautifully. He's kicked 3 himself. He's done a really good job as a defensive forward. He's restricted Gilbert. Spent some time on Goddard and setting them up as well. So
Troy Taylor, a troubled team. The Tigers have given him a chance to turn his life around. Already kicked 1 this afternoon, but that was never given a chance, and he puts that out of bounds on the full. Hoping to make the most of his opportunities. Just his 3rd game this afternoon.
Del Santo with it again for the 27th time, giving to Dempster. Yes, King might have had a shot at goal there a moment ago, but you'd have to think by intention. He just held the kick up and got it to Taylor. Here's a chance. Oh, Collins perhaps preventing Rewalt from a second grab mark. And St Kilda escape. Gwilt to Gilbert to Montagna. Disposal 31. Man loose on the wing is the first game of Miles, who's been solid. That wasn't his best moment. However, he hits a target in Peak, who fails to hit a target, fails comprehensively, and delivers the ball straight to post. So a couple of shocking kicks from the Saints as they were advancing. Well done by Taylor, bringing it down to Cochin. It's one-on-one here. Rewalt from behind, had to go the spoil on Gwilt. Did well. Collins, Nahas. Oh, brave stuff from the little forward. Just not quite sure where to go. Did well. Martin. Taylor from behind. Still a chance at ground level, but the numbers got him. Fisher. Montagna. Very wide, but safe. McAvoy, and that's a push from front on. It's his ball. Mark or a free.
He's got all the athletic qualities, McAvoy. See him chip short there and can go back and take a mark. He's capable of kicking the ball nicely, but just still that development stage where he just needs to get involved in the game a little more, work a bit harder, push wider. He should be down here contesting as well. So Rewalt got a genuine shove then.
And he gets the free. 3-2 this afternoon for Nick Rewalt so far. 7-5 on this ground last Sunday against North Melbourne. This is 7th game back from that nasty hamstring injury. He'll have 8 behind him, Luke, as he heads into the final series. And kicks to centre half forward. Another big pack, read well by Del Santo on the left. It's vacant, goal square. Which way will it bounce? Hits the post. Unlucky for Nick Del Santo.
Saw Justin Kaczynski in that last marking contest kick 5 goals today, but what he does really well is he absolutely splits packs when his confidence is up and running, and on that occasion he just launched himself, cleared 3 or 4 out and opened a fair bit of space in a dangerous part of the ground. So many good signs today for Cozzy. The goals are great, but the other stuff is probably equally as exciting.
Ooh, that was very dangerous, Das. I know you're applauding their daring do. That was a big risk from Daniel Connors, but in the end they maintained possession. Edwards to take the free.
Hasn't been un-Geelong-like the way they've approached this game today, the Tigers. They haven't got the skills or the bodies or the experience to pull it off, but in certain moments it's been brilliant.
They've just kept doing it. Here's Taylor. And wasting no time. Their method is plain. Now, is that a push? It's got to be.
Had to be.
And it's going to be their goal sneak.
Jakey to push up. King's got it. He has got it again. And Gwilt, that was just an obvious free kick. Went back and bowled him over. And Jakey King, has been fantastic today. I love him in this role. I reckon it's something that he might be able to perform on a regular basis. Small forward.
15 career goals in 54 games prior to this. He has 3 today. He, Cochin and Taylor have kicked 6 between them. They had 8 between them in the first 19 rounds. King for number 4. It was too good to last.
He always struck me as the sort of player that Damien Hardwick was going to like. Has got a few qualities that Hardwick himself had as a player. That's a fair dose of white line fever and getting in the face of the opposition. Sometimes.
There's been sorry, Das, there's been an interchange infringement here. Not sure who it was against. Didn't see.
Is to Richmond and a 50-metre penalty.
It's a goal to Jack Revolt. Then Andy, he's going to get a gift right on the goal line here.
Jack was quick to point it out, Luke, as well. He's got the hands up, his eyes lit up.
There's a bit of confusion between Goddard and the bench when he...
Revolt for number 6. Thank you very much.
When he came onto the ground, there was a bit of confusion between Goddard and the bench, and it's clearly led to that infringement. Well, it's often a mystery, but there was definitely some confusion between Brendan Goddard and the St Kilda bench when he came back onto the ground. There were fingers being pointed. He wasn't certain about the direction that he was receiving, I think, from Brian Royal at the time, and it clearly led to that interchange infringement.
Well, Jack Riewoldt deserves everything that comes his way today. 6 goals has been a magnificent effort, and that hasn't been the end of it because he's contributed to at least 3 others.
4th time this season he's kicked 6 goals, Jack Riewoldt. He booted 6 against the Saints back in round 11. It was 6-3 that afternoon. He's in for another big one here. The thumbs up says it all.
Yeah, I find that decision a really hard one to understand, because your role is to take the front position. If you can do that effectively, that's actually the art of playing the role well.
Here's Milne. No result there. 2 Tigers camped under it, and Gordis it is who receives it. That's a little dangerous, but Rance finds a way out, kicks to Moore. Tigers have only had 4 goal kickers. In fact, they've only had 4 scorers, and yet they're still within range. Rance receives for a second play to O'Reilly, to Delidio, and the Tigers are building again, and again it's Jake King in the van. Too far out, wasting no time. Stephen Milne like there. Milne has kicked so many goals in that situation. King can't quite do it, and he didn't go for it, to his credit.
And
it's
look,
a behind.
Angus Graham went and launched himself at the ball, which is great. You've got to be able to go and do that if you think you can mark it. But you've got the Coleman medal winner there, Jack Revolt, who's capable of plucking them from everywhere. It might have been the occasion to let him go because he was in a pretty good spot, Revolt.
I think he thought he had it, Jack, as well, till his teammate came flying through late. Peak, short, Montagna.
Probably well within his rights, Revolt, to turn around and say, get out the way. Lead me to it.
Well, when you've kicked more than 70 for the season, why not? 6 this afternoon. Perhaps he's eyeing another 10. Did it at the MCG, of course, against the Eagles. Kazitsky. Taylor gives it to Delidio. Dispossessed. And it's held up.
Ball print as soon as he tackled.
So just have a look at this replay again. Jack Revolt, I should say, is in the box seat. Going to go over the top, straight in his arms. Now, the ruckman, you just got to know that you get out the way in that situation. You don't draw yourself back into a contested situation when you've got, well, almost the most exciting forward of the year. Has been the most exciting forward of the year. It's great initiative, but you've got to understand the game better. Revolt had that sewn up. Ruckman's got to get out the way.
The goal would be handy in the last 2 minutes of the quarter to really fan the flame before three-quarter time. Curious performance this from the Saints. Conceding 10 goals in the first half. There hasn't been the solidity about their defence today that we're accustomed to seeing. And Richmond still in a position from which it could cause a big upset. Hard won ball here. In fact, yes, it is one now. High contact, St Kilda's footy. James Gwilt. And running forward for him in the corridor goes Gilbert. Montagna back to Gilbert, just a bit quick and on his shoulder. Tigers arrive. Blake though. Montagna. Gilbert again. Now Gwilt with that left foot launch to Peak. St Kilda goal could really give the Saints breathing space. Peak getting into the corridor, just trying to really load up. Now he does. Kazitsky with the sit from behind. There's a Richmond free kick. And it'll be more from the last line.
Against Nick Revolt on that occasion for a little jumper hold to Kelvin Moore. And this is where they have been really brave, Richmond, all game, is they have hit up targets that if they're turned over can result in goals. Delidio's a beautiful kick, so expect him to take it on again.
Well, they need to be bold because there's less than 20 seconds now remaining in this third quarter. Time against them. If they were to move it quickly, they could bring it back to just a kick in it.
Well, this is dangerous again.
This is very, very risky. Cochin can't hit the target. Patterson's there. Back to McAvoy and Peak. And the siren sounds to mark three-quarter time. This game still well and truly in the balance. It's been a gutsy effort by the Tigers. The Saints by 12 points, 12-3, 13-9-87 to Richmond, 12-3, 75 Das.
So the Saints with a 2-goal lead coming to the last change. Tigers could still cause the upset from there. The Commonwealth Games in Delhi are just 43 days away. The second time the Games have come to Asia, so a Commonwealth Games with a difference, and the Indian experience, as everyone who's enjoyed it knows, is unique. Exclusive coverage of the opening and closing ceremonies on 10 and 1, a feast of great sport in prime time.
To score 12 goals. Richmond, though, with the other revolt, has been able to come up with the answers so far.
So it was Richmond by 5 at quarter time, Saints by 5 at half time, the Saints by 12 at the last. What will this last quarter have in store for us? The Tigers through O'Reilly, held up by Milne, and it will be a free kick to Stephen Milne. They've scored the first goal in every quarter so far, the Saints. And they're surging forward yet again. Goddard, bit of space.
He's just so dangerous with this by foot. Have a look at the kicking skills here. Turned it straight over.
As soon as you said that, Luke, I knew what was going to happen. And now the Tigers away. Deledio has some pace, but he opts to hold it up, give it off to the runner, Morton. Wonderful smother by the ruckman in McAvoy. Graham goes and gets it. McAvoy's second effort. Montagna, Goddard, Montagna. Possession number 38. This is Graham. Revolts back at the top of the goal square. Offers the lead. He goes in that direction. Revolt just trying to outmuscle Thursfield. Connors did well. Revolt with the big tackle. Spills clear. Cosy a flying shot. And misses to the left.
Great smother here from Ben McAvoy, and the Revolt probably unlucky not to get a free kick on that occasion, but his second effort tackle really created another goal for his side.
So the game on the line, and should remind you, also on the line is the Ian Stewart medal. St Kilda and Richmond, great triple Brownlow medalist, and once a year that is available to the best player when these sides meet. An august judging panel to make a tremendously difficult decision later in the afternoon. And we'll have the presentation before the game is over.
50.
Oh, gee. Jamie O'Reilly, the Irishman. How disappointing for the young man. It's given up an almost certain goal. No one standing the mark. O'Reilly in his disappointment didn't get back. Del Santo seizes the moment.
Young Irishman just making a bit of a blue there. I think he saw Del Santo go and he thought, well, that's my cue that I can go as well. So he's on the mark there. And I'm not sure what he was thinking, because he didn't really get off the mark, Del Santo, and the umpire had no choice really but to pay a 50-metre penalty.
So Jamie O'Reilly, the Irishman, just in his second game, made his debut at the MCG last week.
Umpire McInerney pointing out that even in umpiring there's a process.
So the Saints threatening to pull away. Ray, Del Santo overran it. Well done by Edwards. Martin inside 50. Revolt might have been held. Post does well. Little bit of space. Wheels around on the left. The flying snap across the face for Jaden Post. Hails from Altona, Tim, in Prime Minister territory.
I was just praying he'd hit the woodwork there, Kel, and give you something to work with.
Yes, Post delivers a post.
Margin 18. And the Saints look as though they're going to have enough for Richmond. Goddard's kick is wayward. Untouched. He's arguing the point by the look of it, or perhaps telling his teammates he thought somebody would be there. Daniel Connors floats it in. Asprey from behind having to go the spoil, but the man in front, Goddard.
Since I pumped Goddard up, is one of the best kicks I've ever seen. He's had 2 turnovers, so see what he can do with his third. He's certainly gone for it again.
It's as flat as a tack, but it gave Kelmore the chance to hammer it forward. Blake over it, head down. Miles, Dempster, Graham, but Richmond continue to apply pressure. Don't know what Nahas was thinking there. He flung himself at the ball as though it was a contest, and it wasn't. Connors to Moore. Now Goodis up from defence. Long ball with the left. Rewald in the middle, taken under the ball. Goddard collecting again. McAvoy Graham brings him down. Ball up. Chance for the Tigers.
Again, Jack Revolt, who's kicked 6 goals in this game. He was outnumbered in that marking contest 3 or 4 to 1. But he has got this fanatical, competitive desire, and he doesn't ever get outmarked. He always brings it to ground, and now they get another opportunity inside their own forward 50.
Fisher went at it. Del Santo, Blake. It was an awkward-looking kick on the left boot. And it'll come back to Morton, who just pokes it over the top. Really made Martin work for it. Asprey comes in. Del Santo. It's over the line.
It was the right kick.
A throw in.
It was the right kick there for Mitch Morton. They're a hard one. It's almost a lob wedge where you see a teammate out and you're trying to weight it. Didn't quite, or just showed too much of it to the St Kilda defence.
No prior opportunity.
So a scoring position for Richmond. And they're going to need to kick one in a hurry to really give themselves some genuine hope here. Saints with a big crowd around the ball. McAvoy getting the better of Post in the physical exchange. Peake stolen from him by Cochin. Kicked a couple of goals. Didn't make contact there. So another ball up. And Richmond's endeavour has been first class. And they're still having a dip and still playing with some belief. Revolt's kicked at least a goal in every quarter. They need him to kick a couple in the last. Martin, bouncing ball. Bounced over Fisher's head. Taylor applying pressure, forcing the error. And still the Tigers hold it in.
St Kilda have got all but 2 players, and those 2 are Revolt and Kazitsky inside their defensive 50. That's why we're having stoppage after stoppage.
Graham down to Revolt. Flying shot up and under. Goddard spilt the mark. Charging through. Gilbert can't get a clean possession away. Brought down is Cochin. It's gone up it. Cranked up a gear or 2, and now the Saints are away. Del Santo. Good smother by the teammate. Kicks to Kazitsky. 1 out. Inside 50. It's Revolt. Revolt and Moore. He opts to just skirt the perimeter. And now Montagna goes in that direction. Revolt!
Going back really hard there.
So it's going to come back to Nick Revolt.
Goal umpires waving the flags.
Well, a bit of confusion, and Thursfield has taken a really heavy knock here.
Just settle it down.
So the goal counts to Del Santo.
Goal has been paid, yes.
Rightly so. That's a spontaneous crumb. Both Tigers in the contest went to ground. Thursfield obviously hurt. And I think Nick Revolt would be happy with the outcome, even though he's denied a goal himself.
Thursfield comes off in a bit of a bad way. A couple of good contests for Revolt where he's been smashed and been able to get through it, get up and be okay. And sometimes they actually do more for your confidence than running around and having a game which is incident-free. So his preparation just continues to be perfect for the finals.
Saints footy after being forced backwards. Schneider taking Delidio under it. Revolt couldn't go all the way. Fights on. Tuck though, prizing it out. In the end, a ball up. Saints with a 4-goal lead, the biggest of the day. Now, that's the damage from that marking contest a moment ago.
Yeah, I don't think you appreciated Thursfield just cannoning back. It's a really dangerous situation as a forward when a defender chooses to take his eye off the footy and run at you. So Revolt, not really something you see him do too often, but he really gave it to Thursfield.
Goddard to Ray, time to steady, and just miss.
Toledio's on their kick-in duties. Tigers goalless in this last term. Kicked 6 in the first quarter. Got off to a flying start. Toledio draws a man. Gives it over to Gordis. Just his second game of AFL. Sits awkwardly for Miles. Trying to pluck it off the deck there is Edwards. He can't and will have a bounce right in front of the interchange gates.
Let's have a look at what Nick Revolt wasn't too happy about, as Thursfield, yes, without eyes on the ball, you'd think, came back hard. In the end, he was the one who came off second best, and Revolt let him know of his displeasure.
Free kick here for Montagna against Edwards. What an afternoon out he's had. 40 disposals, make that 41. Short to Milne, off to the run of Graham. Usually good by foot. Getting back down there and hitting the pack hard was Pattinson. And Post just paddles it over the boundary line. So it's out to 25 points. It's been not much in this game. Patterson, Goddard, getting around Tuck. And then the left snap is all class, and the Saints are starting to flex their muscles.
He's a star, this man. Just an absolute elite player in the game. A couple of goals, 28 possessions. Now kicked 20 goals for the year. Plays at half-back, can play full forward. Such an important player in this side.
That shot of Ben Cousins there for Richmond supporters. We thought he'd broken his leg last week, so let's not go too far this week. But he came off the 20-minute mark of the third quarter, received some treatment, what I think might have been a left hamstring. He hasn't come back on since. Got the tracksuit top on, so perhaps the Cousins career might be coming to a premature close.
Well, we hope not. We hope this isn't the swan song. Saints by 31. Das, what are you giving them out of 10 for today's performance?
Well, it's probably a pass, Tim, so maybe a 6. I think they'll look at how easily they've been scored against today and see that as a bit of a concern. I think they'll think that their pressure skills could be up a little more. They pride themselves so much on their ability just to win the contest and situation. And yeah, they've had a win there, but not really a clear win, so a fair bit to work on. The real positive for them will be, I reckon, Justin Kazitsky, his improvement today, and also, you know, another tick for Nick Revolt.
Here's O'Reilly. The little dab to Taylor. Back to Graham. Rance having to switch play to Connors. Probing ball. Awkward for Post. And Patterson takes it to the line. The thing is, the Tigers have only kicked, well, they've kicked 12 goals for. I mean, through the first half, they kicked 10-1 and looked to be scoring much too easily for the liking of Ross Lyon. And yet, by the end of the day, if they don't add much to it, it won't be an extravagant score that they've achieved. So I guess you can say the second half has been a bit more St Kilda style than the first.
Yeah, let's pay some credit to Richmond here as well. I think that they've played a really exciting brand of football. And I mention it a lot, but their ability to kick it today and use it well by foot has exposed St Kilda at times.
Graham working hard. The kick came from St Kilda out of the danger zone. Blake, Kazitsky, been impressive. Oh, and a big collision, bodies on the line, and it spills clear to the Saints captain, and there's no one inside 50. Sprinting now is Milne. He marks in front of Deledio, and he'll go back and have a set shot, but it was a big collision on the outer side.
And here the Saints fans just voiced their appreciation for what their captain has done tonight. They've had some moments where they've been worried about him. He said he's been smashed a couple of times. I think Revolt got through unscathed.
So Milne yet to kick a goal this afternoon, but he joins the party, and the Saints are well and truly pulling away.
Randy Maher was just reporting before about Ben Cousins sitting on the interchange bench, and you could just see him there stretching the hamstring. He's right in the contest. That isn't Ben Cousins like football. He just always runs. He always puts pressure on. You can feel him feeling the hamstring. So let's hope that he has not done a hamstring. We want him to get that one farewell game next week.
Moore's gone forward for the Tigers. Made a good contest there. High tackle on Geary by Collins. St Kilda's ball. Well, that leaves us all in a dilemma, really. Does Cousins get a farewell today? He certainly didn't look like a man there who'd be playing next week, but perhaps it's just a momentary twinge and not as bad as that looked. What about Stephen Milne, Darce? Do you expect to see him in this higher role in the finals, or do you think he'll be back in his more traditional close to goal sneak? Yeah,
I think you want him with Kazitsky up and about. He's kicked 5 goals today, and with Rewalt there, he's at his most dangerous when he's getting front and centre and getting on the scoreboard himself. So they'll need to push him up at times, and he'll work up and work back. But certainly, if you're an opposition side, as Rewalt takes another big mark, you don't want Stephen Milne inside 50 if you're playing against St Kilda. You're happy to see him up on the wing.
Well, look, I would hate to try and influence anybody, but the judges of the Ian Stewart medal will be quaking in their boots at the moment. Jack Rewalt's kicked 6 in a losing total. Lee Montagna's had 41 disposals. Jack could just about get himself across the line, but he hasn't. He's missed it. And it's a behind.
No Tigers ever won it either, Tim. He'd be the first.
Yeah, it'd probably help him with a bit of a sympathy vote, wouldn't it, Andy?
You just kick another 2 or 3 quickly. He might just sway Darce and Cal and you.
Oh, we voting.
He's got 74 for the year. Barry Hall's got 67. Don't want to go too early, Tim, but has he got one hand on the Coleman medal as well?
Shane Edwards. Shane Edwards.
1 foot at least.
Shane Edwards. Got the footy.
He's Shane Edwards. High ball. There'll be another pack. Crushing it hard was post. Revolt's in there. He's lurking. He's looking for number 7. And a quick flying shot goes through for a behind. Ross Lyon, he said during the week that the Saints were just chugging along at 70%. They needed to find 30% before the finals. Not too sure, Luke, they've found that 30% today.
No, they probably haven't, but what they've done is they've got, to this stage through unscathed. They've been able to get a little bit of rest into a couple that they chose not to select. So although it hasn't been that real polished performance, you still look at the scoreline at the end. The second half, they've restricted the Tigers to just a couple of goals. They've been able to score more free to themselves. So not too much wrong, but a little bit to improve as well.
Yes, they were really below 100% last year, or something very close to it. That's more like it. And the blonde champion line up for number 4 here.
I have the feeling that Ross Lyon and the Saints will be really enjoying their build up to the final situation this year. Last year, the expectation was with 19 wins and 1 loss coming in around 21. It was just, if they lose, it'll be a disaster. No one had dominated a season like that since the Bombers had won it in 2000. Now, just slightly under the radar, but a lot of things going right.
The kicking is the question mark at times. He started looking so authoritative today after 7 last week, but he's gone off the boil, and that gives him 3 goals 4 on my card. I think it might be 3-3 on the official card.
Connors to bring it back into play. Tigers with 1 game remaining in their season after this, and I guess a few of these players out here will have in the back of their mind they'll be playing for contracts next season. As a free comes back to St Kilda. Del Santo. Short, unmanned, charging over the top though late was Edwards, and he's paid the mark to the interchange gates. Newman takes on Miles, needs to get around Del Santo, forced to go backwards. Asprey. They share it around here, the Tigers. Tuck will be there next year. Missed the first couple. Damien Hardwick overlooked him. but came back in style. Graham. This is Mitch Morton, which is one, Luke, I did want to ask you about. Morton, of course, was the goal kicker last year, leading goal kicker. Interested to hear him say during the week that he didn't want to be the goal kicker, never dreamt of being the goal kicker, wanted to play in the midfield, and has gone back to the VFL to learn the craft. Yeah,
it's interesting, isn't it? I think you probably just want to get a spot on the side wherever it is, and he has had an opportunity now to go in the midfield. He's had a better effort today. They tried him on Chris Judd last week and probably wasn't up to that challenge at this stage, but I think he's shown some reasonable signs running around the midfield today. 17 possessions, and has used the ball pretty well by foot along with a few of his teammates.
So Kel Moore on the end of it all. It started with a split decision that had the crowd, certainly the St Kilda fans, a bit upset as Graham had Connors under pressure as he was called to play on, but did get him high, so it was the correct call. And Moore, the defender, has a long shot and kicks his first goal of the season.
See this style of footy again the Tigers have used really effectively today, particularly in the first half, and that's running hard through the corridor and then kicking it well by foot. Set up a goal for the defender, Kel Moore.
Good crowd in this afternoon, 33,944. Saints out by 30 points. Got their money's worth, fair to say, considering our tips at the start of the afternoon. Most predicting a blowout. High ball charging Revolts. Just brilliant, Jack Revolt. Would he load up and go from well outside 50? He doesn't. He's got 6. Instead he goes for the pocket, and it overruns Moore and Nahas.
Hadn't mentioned earlier in the day that he had a shot from range, something like that, at that end of the ground, I think in about his 8th game against St Kilda after the siren for victory back in 2008, and he didn't make it, and the Saints won, and he was a most dejected young man. Well, he's nailed just about every opportunity today, and his career has taken great strides. Here go the Saints through Armitage. The margin 30, and Kozitsky, he's just about the best story of the day for St Kilda. Milne here with the sit. Well played, Jake King. And Asprey's able to come away with it to O'Reilly, to Taylor, and good pair of hands there. Miles, the St Kilda debutant, not quite able to get fist on the ball.
Another good kick from the Irishman too. He had to wait it perfectly, and he did. Post gets the free kick here right in front of us in centre wing.
So Richmond's ball, just looking in the last 6 minutes to try and cut into this margin. And they're certainly sharing the honours today, although St Kilda looks set to take the points. That's not a great kick, and McAvoy comes third in line, and with a big height advantage pulls it down to Del Santo. Been excellent to Armitage. Not quite picked up by Patterson, and Delidio comes away with it. And Collins from inside 50 or more's got a taste for it, and he's touched it. Oh dear. That's what happens when you send a defender forward and he kicks a goal. He gets to like it. What should he have done? It was a tough one, wasn't it? Because it wasn't far from the post.
Look, in fairness, I reckon it was probably going to go across the face and hit the post. So you got to back yourself in and go and mark it. He just probably should have gone a little bit harder and marked it.
Here's Cochin. Wobbly old kick off the boot, and Moore, the defender, playing in the attacking 50 with the spoil.
I just think there's some great positives again today for Richmond in a season that I personally felt was going to be one where they were going to do well to win more than 4 or 5 games. Been competitive in a lot, been blown away a couple of times, which you'd expect, but you've got a real sense of the style, the footy they want to play, the competitive nature they're going about it. And today is another real tick for them.
And another long ball here, but it is offline by Morton. So peppering the goals in the last few minutes. Been quite accurate this afternoon as the Saints almost muck it up on the kick-in. Now they're away. McQualter all by himself is Ray. And Revolt has got some yards on his defender. Oh, well done by Gordis. It was well played by Rance, in fact, in the end. Some good closing speed and got the defensive spoil.
Yeah, Farron Ray's kick, it wasn't the one to punch, it was the one to give air, because Rance was in a no-win situation if he had waited a little higher. And Revolt looks back around and says, just give it a little bit more, and I can't be beaten in that situation.
We're into the last 5 minutes, and the burning question, I guess, is this the end for Ben Cousins? As the Saints keep coming, and Andrew McWalter can line them up. Few stories to come out of this game. Justin Koschitzki, 5 goals. The Coleman medal, Jack Riewoldt kicking 6 and taking a stranglehold on it, and Ben Cousins finishing the game on the bench, clearly with a leg injury. And it's possible now, distinctly so, that this is it. McWalter, Saints leading by 29. It hangs. Nick Riewoldt up. Connors. Deledio there too for Richmond. What's your guess, Dr. Darcy?
Look, when you see the big ice pack on a hamstring like that, you saw him limp off the ground. Well, look, the gut feel is that they're really hard to come up from, particularly someone who's got a history of hamstrings. I hope I'm wrong. I hated to finish on this note for Ben Cousins. It would not be the ideal ending for him.
Body language in the picture doesn't look good. His career looks like it might end on 269 games. 31 for Richmond and 238 for the Eagles. It's always a twist in the tail when it comes to Ben Cousins.
The improvement in Richmond's kicking is just extraordinary. 74% efficiency by foot is enormous, as they just...
You've done that well today, Dust.
I'm going to shut up.
It was O'Reilly that had the kick smothered. They regained possession, and Edwards hits Revolt out on the chest.
It's a virus, Das, and it's highly contagious.
David Harwick likes it. He's got time for a smile.
Well, Jack Revolt is lining up for number 7. He is 7 clear of Barry Hall when it comes to the Coleman medal tally. I won't get you to call it, Das, because you might just put the mockers on him instead. Jack Revolt has super number 7.
Just causes defenders so many issues, doesn't he, Revolt? You can see Blake don't want to be alongside him because he can sit on your head and take a hanger. He's strong enough through the core that he worries you, and he's quick on the lead.
So he goes 8 clear on the Coleman calculator. Barry Hall with a game to come in this round, of course, against the Bulldogs at the against Sydney at the SCG tomorrow. Easy to interchange those two teams. And Jack's got to be a fighting chance of becoming the first Tiger to win the Ian Stewart medal. Of course, in honour of a great Tasmanian footballer, and Jack is some such himself. And there is Ben Cousins, and look at the bandage on that left thigh. That surely is the death knell. The bell tolls on a great career, as it does on this game. St Kilda by 23, but it's not a great margin. We expected more. Closing in on the finals. Wonder if their coach expected a bit more. The Saints building, looking for some more scoring, but Rance is in their way. Connors too. He's had a good season, Daniel Connors, after a mishap early in the year. Deledio with Graham closing. Swings it clear and swings it well to Taylor. Troy Taylor, an interesting one. Mitch Morton said in a radio interview during the week that he's taken him under his wing, and he has him in sharing a house with him, and he's become his mentor. His tuck, long ball, Moore and Riewoldt does the shunting work And that's almost another assist, even though he didn't lay a hand on the ball.
I'll pay that as an assist. He deserves everything he gets today, Jack Riewoldt. He started in the most unselfish manner, the way he went about his game, and now he's been rewarded with 7 goals and also set one up for Kelmore, the defender. Can he kick a couple?
His first 2 of the year. He doesn't. Looks much narrower than 7 metres when you're a defender. Just getting the odd chance to try and split them, I'd imagine.
Jack Riewoldt's had 12 score involvements out of a total of 14 goals for the Tigers.
And Guelt loads up, tried to go the barrel, didn't quite come off, but they maintain possession. Let's keep an eye out for Lee Montagna. He's chasing a PB this afternoon. He's got 42, he needs 1 more, but the Tigers with a flying shot again from Morton offline. And still time for Lee Montagna, chasing position number 43. Bit of cramp here for Goddard, it looks like. Hasn't been a bad afternoon for him either. 28 possessions and 2 goals straight. Cousins just explaining the situation to one of his good mates, Dan Connors. And the siren sounds. The Tigers were gutsy, but the Saints prevail by 21 points.
Saints home by 21. The burning question hangs over Ben Cousins. Let's go down to Andy Marr.
Thanks very much, Tim. I'm down here now just talking to a few of the St Kilda boys. Everybody wants to know. We saw the bandage on it now and the ice on it a minute ago. How bad is it?
When I first did it, I thought I'd definitely done my hammy, but you know, I went down in the rooms and I'm hoping that it's just a good cramp because I had full strength on it. I had really good strength on it, so I've done a few hammies where I've thought I've done it and it's been all right. So fingers crossed I've got 1 more left. So
everybody's going to be talking about you again this week because of that hamstring. What do you reckon your chance are? We stand here right now. What do you reckon your chance are of playing next week?
Better than 50-50, which, you know, like when I pulled up, I thought I was gone. But I was, you know, I've been able to jog and I've got, you know, some good strength in it. So hopefully 1 more, and but we'll see.
Mate, we'll keep our fingers crossed for you.
Thanks, buddy.